Good afternoon. I just looked at my clock and we are at 12:20 in Colorado. So good afternoon. Welcome to the February 28th edition of Coffee with Kelly. I'm excited to be back here with everyone on Wednesday. I did drive through my local coffee supplier and get a iced Tuscan Sunset latte from the Human Bean. It has white chocolate, tiramisu, and caramel, I believe. It's awesome. So, welcome to Coffee with Kelly. We're going to dive right in, and I'm going to answer a question that someone asked last week in the comments below my video, which is, can your employer ask your age? And this tends to come up in a variety of settings. So, I'll answer the question with a short answer first, which is technically, yes. It's not specifically prohibited to ask the age of an employee, whether that's a prospective employee in an interview, whether it's a current employee. The issue arises because it tends to throw up a red flag. So while an employer can't ask if you are old enough to, if you're over 18 or over 21, if those are job requirements. In Colorado, there are certain jobs that you cannot perform if you're not over 16, for example, or certain shifts you can't work if you're not over 16. Those are all fine, and there are no protections against age discrimination for workers who are less than 40 years old. So for young people, yes, there's really no problem with your employer asking your age. I think a lot of people feel like they are discriminated against because they are young and inexperienced, but the law doesn't protect that. The law against age discrimination is targeted at protecting older employees from discrimination on the basis of being too old to perform the job. And we'll talk about some of the ways that can come up. So if you're over 40, asking questions about your age is usually a red flag for some sort of discriminatory motive. And that question can come up in a variety of ways. There's obviously asking how old are you or what year were you born. Other less obvious ways of asking it, but that are clearly geared at trying to learn how old you are things like, what year did you graduate from high school? Or talking about maybe music that you listened to growing up and trying to figure out how old you are. One of the more common comments or questions that I'll hear employers asking is, are you going to retire soon? Or when do you plan to retire? How many more years do you plan to work? Those kinds of questions are clearly trying to get at some sort of age or age discriminatory motive. And those are, again, not specifically prohibited. They're a red flag. So, one of the more creative ones, some more on the comment side, comments that would be also red flags for a discriminatory motive, are comments like, the way you do things is old school, or we do things in the new way here, and that's not the way you do them. Those kinds of comments, and again, asking about retirement. Those are some of the ways that those comments or questions come up regarding age. So, again, not specifically prohibited. If they're coming up frequently, that's a concern for age discrimination, especially if it comes shortly before or around the same time as something adverse that happens at work. If you're disciplined, terminated, demoted, those are all going to be adverse employment actions that would seem to be linked, especially if they're coming from the same person making those comments or asking those questions about age. The other time I'm concerned about age discrimination is when there are a reduction of force or layoffs, and everyone involved in the reduction of force or layoff is over 40. Those are times when I'm going to have an eyebrow up looking for age discrimination comments around those parameters. So that was an easy question to answer. The short answer is yes, but look for other red flags. A single time being asked that question, probably not going to be a concern to me. I'm going to want to see questions about that, comments about that, and it being perceived as negative, and then an adverse employment action tied with it or coming around the corner. So if you're getting written up shortly after this and it looks like they're trying to push you out the door, that's when I want to talk to you about comments regarding your age. So thank you for the questions from my followers. And as promised, in addition, we're going to do a short tour of the Riley Law Office this week at the request of my colleague, Chris Wheaton. So this is my office here. We've got some faux FICA in the corner. And behind me in this little cubby back here is a picture of the Supreme Court that I took when I was in high school. I visited Washington, D.C., and I have had that picture of the Supreme Court somewhere where I'm seeing it every single day since I turned 16. It's just really served as an inspiration for me and a reminder of the journey that brought me to the place I'm at. So, other things in my office, cute pictures of my child and some thank you notes. My family pictures, my diplomas and law license and law degree. And sorry, I hope nobody gets like nauseous watching this video to satisfy Chris's curiosity. A painting that I did for my office to bring a little more color in here, and the sign that greets everyone who comes to visit my office. If anyone wants to know more about visiting my office, you can find the address on my website, which is www.rileylawllc.com. You can fill out a intake questionnaire on our website if you have questions about things that are happening at your workplace, and I will review all of the intakes and follow up with you and let you know if there's something I might be able to help you with. So thanks for tuning in this week. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I'm having iced coffee today because it's so gorgeous here. It's been a nice way to end February, and I will look forward to seeing everyone next week. Thanks.